Lisa with InkandInspirations.com. Thank you for joining me. In this video, I wanted to give a response to a question from a YouTube viewer, Janice, and she wanted to know how I was going about adhering these and putting these on fronts of cards, these fringe flowers that we make with our new fringe scissors, because there's such a big little stump, if you will, here below the flower once you get it all wound up. And so I told her I'd work with it a little bit to see what I could come up with, because I had not as of yet used one on the card front. So I've worked with it, and here's one that I've done, and you can see it's not quite as big, so let me tell you how I did it. First of all, I started with a sheet of designer paper at 1.5 by 10, okay, and then I scored it at 3/4, and then I folded it in half. And now, usually you would put some type of adhesive here, sticky strip or something. I'm leaving that off to trying to cut down on the bulk, okay? So I have this folded in half. So first of all, I'm starting with more of a narrow base than I had previously. So I'm going to take my scissors, and it's more important now than ever to not cut here with the tip, but to cut, you know, halfway into the scissor blades. And I'm going to try to cut as far across as I can without cutting through. So I'm going to do that. And it's better to, you know, err on the side of caution rather than cut all the way through. And so I'm going to do this all the way down, and then I'll be back and show you the next step. Okay, so I've fringed this all the complete length. And you can see I have varied widths here, but it's pretty narrow over here. I tried to cut as far across as I could. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my bone folder and just bend these just a little bit, because you want that flower as flat as possible on a card front. Now, you know, obviously you would need almost to make a little box to mail that in because of the dimension on that card, or not mail it at all and just hand it or hand deliver it. But if you still could do it as long as you package it correctly and you don't want to smash the flower. So making a little box maybe with our envelope punch board would be good. Okay, so now here again I'm going to use a different kind of adhesive. Instead of sticky strip, I'm going to use snail. And normally if I were doing these flowers like for a wreath or an arrangement, I would use sticky strip because I would want them to hold, because it would have a lot of handling if it was on display. And, you know, I would want it to last through seasons if it was a seasonal project. So, but on this, I'm going to try the snail, and it worked fine for me on this one. And I did end up hot gluing these pieces on together, so that held it well too. And instead of putting anything in the center, I'm just going to wound this tight all the way down. And because I've kind of bent the little fringe with my bone folder, it's going to spread out a little easier. So I'm just winding it all the way, and I'm to the very end now. So I'm going to take and open up these petals, these little fringe petals, up as far as I can, just like that, without smashing it too much. And you might want to take a bone folder to kind of gently curl. But I have found that because of the more narrow paper, and also the strip is not 12 inches long but 10, and the fact that I didn't use sticky strip, which made this even more stiff, okay? But you can see the little stem or stump or whatever you want to call it is just not as wide or big as these original flowers that I've done, okay? Which would make it really protrude off the card. I mean, beautiful dimension, but you don't necessarily want that on a card You don't want it to overwhelm the rest of it. So that's my fix for using these fringe flowers on a card. I'm sure there are other demonstrators or other crafters that have ideas, and I welcome those if you have any other ideas. So anyway, give that a try, Janice. Cut your paper more narrow, cut almost through to the other end, and then watch your adhesive and, bend it and manipulate it so that you can put it on the front of a card. So thank you for your question, and I will see you all again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.